All right, everyone. Good morning and welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller, and I am one of the yoga instructors here in Yoga for Caregivers. This is our weekly stretch session where we really focus on getting stretched out, getting you ready for the rest of your day, the rest of your week. So, as we move through our practice today, let's keep in mind our boundaries. Notice, where are you ready to extend into postures? Where do you need to modify and come down to the mat? Or perhaps just find your center posture. Also, keep in mind, I don't often cue water. So, if and when you feel thirsty during practice, of course, please feel free to step off the mat, grab that drink, and then join us whenever you feel ready. So, with all of that being said, we're going to come into a comfortable seat, whether our legs are crossed or they're straight out in front of us. We're going to root down into the sits bones and sit up nice and tall here. We're going to inhale, bring our shoulders forward and up, and then exhale, drop them back and down. One more time, as we inhale, they come forward and up, and then exhale, they come back and down. Now, bring your hand into a comfortable position. It can be on your knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. You can keep your eyes open and simply find an unmoving point and soften the gaze, or you can close your eyes. Notice what feels right for you. So this year, inspiration for our classes is drawn from the Native American medicine wheel based on Sun Bear's vision. The medicine wheel teaches us about movement and change and offers us insight that will help us learn and grow. The Otter phase of the year happens under the rest and cleansing moon. This is appropriate as the start of the year often results in a frenzy of action. But after a few weeks, patterns of behavior begin to emerge, and the burning fire in our bellies that happened earlier has cooled off slightly. This time of the year offers us a chance to pause, to rest in the accomplishment of what we've already done, and to cleanse whatever is no longer serving us and living the life we truly want to live. As you move through practice, I invite you to notice where you need rest and where you need to cleanse, literally and figuratively. So settling in, taking a nice deep inhale through the nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhaling your breath back out. We take another deep inhale and fill the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale the breath back out. Take another deep inhale and notice here that air as it moves in the nose, down the throat, fills the lungs. Exhale as you feel that air release from the lungs, move up the throat and out the nose. Continue to breathe here, inhaling and exhaling with intention, really noticing the movement of your breath. Now, if it feels right for you, you can incorporate a mantra here to help you stay grounded and focused on the breath. Inhale, I can. Exhale, rest. Inhale, I can. Exhale, rest. Notice anytime that you go away from the breath, that you shift away, you get distracted by thoughts, noises, or physical sensations, and either come back to the breath or come back to your mantra. Remaining here with your breath for just a few more moments in whatever way best supports you. Let's take another deep inhale here. Set an intention or a purpose for your practice day, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take another deep inhale here. Feel that intention with heart and mind. And then exhale that breath out. Set the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it toward the end of our practice. Now, you can stay right where you are. It may be helpful to come up onto a prop like a block or a bolster. So again, sitting up nice and tall, rooting into the sits bones. We're going to start by tipping our left ear over to our left shoulder. Now, notice the tendency to want to lean over to the left. We're not doing that. Instead, we're just hinging at the neck. Feel that stretch to the right side neck here and into the shoulder. Couple options, you can remain here. Another option is to bring that left hand to the right side of the head. We're not pulling, the weight is just simply resting down here. Another option is to extend your right fingers out to the side, fingertips on the floor or the mat. It's going to deepen that stretch through the neck. Wherever you find yourself breathing nice and deeply, really staying rooted to the sits bones, core gently engaged. All right. Inhale, lift that top hand up, and then go ahead and rotate the nose toward the armpit as if you're trying to get a whiff of your deodorant. We're going to bring that top hand so it's on the back of the head, very gently pulling the nose down toward the armpit, chin coming down toward the chest. Now, again, you can stay here. That right hand can stay extended or it can come back to the knee or vice versa. Notice the different stretch here in the neck, down into the shoulder, maybe all the way into the fingertips, depending on how tight you are. And then let's take a couple deep breaths here. Stay engaged with the core, rooted through the sits bones. All right, inhale. Let's go ahead and return to center here. We're going to inhale our shoulders back and up, and then exhale them forward and down. One more time. Inhale, back and up, and then exhale forward and down. Nice work. Opposite side. So we drop that right ear over to the right shoulder. Again, we're not leaning to the right, but staying long through the spine and simply hinging at the neck. Now, one side is maybe going to feel different from the other, so you can stay here. Option is to bring that right hand, rest it down onto the left side of the head. Again, we're not pulling. It's just that weight is simply resting there. Another option is to extend our left fingers out to the side, fingertips on the mat. So notice here what feels right for you. Let's take a couple deep breaths here together. All right, we inhale, lift that top hand up, rotate the nose down toward the armpit, tucking that chin. Top hand comes to the back of the head, very gently pulling that nose toward the armpit. Now, again, you can stay here. That left hand can stay extended or be back on the knee. Notice what feels right for you here. And let's take a couple deep breaths. Shoulders are down. We're engaged to the core, staying nice and tall through the spine. All right. Inhale. Let's go ahead and come back into center. All right. So nice work here. Moving those shoulders a little bit, releasing them if that feels good. And then go ahead, remove that prop if you're using one and get it out of the way so you have some space here. And we're going to extend our legs straight out in front of us. We're going to root into our sits bones. We're going to sit up nice and tall on the inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to lean forward here, coming into a seated forward fold. So we're right at the beginning of our practice. You may not have a lot of flexibility yet. That's totally fine. I want you to focus on pressing forward with the heart center instead of the nose. When we round out the back, we take all of that stretch stretch out from the legs, and we kind of put strain on our back here. So instead, core gently engaged, leaning forward here with the heart center, tucking the chin slightly so we're nice and long through our neck. Now, our hands can be wherever feels the most comfortable for us here, but we're not straining and we're definitely not pulling ourselves down. Feel that stretch of the back of the legs, maybe into the hips and then maybe into the low back here. So wherever you are, let's take a couple of deep breaths. One more deep inhale here. Good. Exhale, plant those hands on the mat. Let's go ahead and press ourselves back into center. Nice work. Now we're going to get into our hips here. So let's go ahead and take that left knee and drop it down in front of your body here. You're going to curve that heel around toward your right hip. Now take your right knee, cross it in front of the body and stack it on top of that left knee. Yeah. So we're in cow face pose here. We want to bring the ears of the cow, so that are your feet, out as perpendicular to your knees as possible, but not straining in any way. Now, if you're like, Alexis, I cannot do this posture. My legs do not move that way. Totally fine. You can simply find your crisscross applesauce here. You can always hinge forward here for a deeper stretch. And you can start with that right leg crossed in front. So wherever you find yourself, we're sitting up nice and tall. If you're in cow face pose, notice the tendency of that right hip to lift and see if you can root it down onto the mat. So sitting up nice and tall here, inhaling, finding that comfortable spot for the hands. And if you'd like, on the exhale, hinge the hips and lean forward with the heart center. Now, we're not straining. This is a really intense stretch. So notice what feels right for you. Find that posture and then breathe here, dropping the shoulders down. Nice work here. All right. We inhale, come back into center. Now we're going to do a little ninja moves if you're up for it. So take your hands and come over to the inside of your left foot here. Now we're going to press into our hands and lift ourselves onto the balls of both feet. Now, rotating on the feet do not move except to rotate in one place here. We're going to walk our hands around. Notice how I'm rotating on my feet. And then lower that right hip and leg down to the floor, stack the left knee on top. We're in the opposite position on the opposite side. If that did not work for you, simply uncross your legs and cross them the opposite way. Good. If you were in crisscross applesauce, find the opposite cross of that applesauce there. Good. Now, coming into this position, again, getting those ears of the cow face as perpendicular to the knees as possible. Notice if the left hip is lifting, ooh, let's go ahead and lower that down to the mat. Find that comfortable spot for the hands. Inhale as we lengthen through the spine. And again, option, exhale. You can hinge the hips and lean forward, coming into that forward fold here. It's an option. It's not a requirement. It's certainly going to deepen the stretch. So I invite you to really be mindful here. What works best for your body? And let's take a couple deep breaths here together. All right, let's inhale up into center. We're simply leaning on to the right, uncrossing our legs. We drop those soles of the feet down to the floor. We lean back onto the hands, and then we windshield wipe the knees back and forth. There is nothing fancy about this, but it does release our glutes, our hips, and our low back from that nice deep stretch that we were just putting ourselves through. All right, good. Let's go ahead and come into center here. Nice work. We're going to go ahead and make our way onto our hands and knees here. Good. We're going to tuck the toes on the inhale and on the exhale, lift our hips coming into our down dog. So our hips are nice and tall here. Shoulders are shrugged down. Good. On the next inhale, come forward bringing the shoulders over the hands here. Balls of the feet are beneath the heels. We're one long line from shoulders to heels. We're in our plank. Now, an option, you can drop those knees, but keep them at an angle so the core stays engaged here. Option, not requirement. So let's breathe here. Nice deep inhale. And then exhale, we bend at the elbows, lower ourselves all the way down to the mat and untuck the toes. Good. We're going to inhale, bring the elbows beneath the shoulders, plant the forearms, lift the gaze and torso coming into Sphinx. So our shoulders are down away from the ears. We're drawing our elbows in toward the spine. As we press into the mat, our gaze is forward and proud here. Feel that decompression through the low spine. And if you are clenching your glutes here, go ahead, release those glutes. The tops of the feet are on the floor here. Good. Let's just take a couple of deep breaths. We do not spend a lot of time these days in a posture where we're bending backwards, opening up our chest in this way, and decompressing the low back. So just take a couple breaths here and enjoy the sensation. Deep inhale. Exhale, let's come down to the mat. Hands come beneath the shoulders. Now press yourself up onto your hands and knees, but then sink the hips back right onto the heels. Elongate the arms. Your forehead comes down toward the floor for your child's pose. Now, if your head does not reach the mat, you can stack your arms and place the head down there. You can also get a block or a bolster if that feels good for you. It's really whatever will support you in this posture. If your arms are extended, you're welcome to leave them there. An option is also to sweep them around to the feet here for embryo that releases the shoulders and that upper back. Notice what feels right for you. Let's take a couple deep breaths here. All right. We inhale, we come back on up onto our hands and knees, and then we're going to make our way into a seated position. Good. We're going to extend our legs so they're out in that wide-legged stance. That might be different for each of us here, depending on our anatomy. But as wide as you're able to get them in a comfortable spot, staying rooted through the sits bones here. On the inhale, we lengthen through the spine, and then on the exhale, we hinge at the hips and we lean forward here, coming into that wide-legged forward fold. Now, a couple options. Your hands can be out on your legs, down on your calves or your shins. We're trying to keep those toes pointing toward the top of the room here. So if they start to fold forward, pull yourself out of the posture, hinge at the hips, and stop right where they start to turn in. That's going to give you a nice deep stretch here. It's starting to open up those hips and get you to that flexibility, mobility point where the toes can stay up. Now, you can be also down on the forearms or laid flat out. If you have props, you can also use props for support here. It's completely up to you. So wherever you are, let's take a couple of deep breaths here together. All right. We inhale, we press on up into center here, moving any props out of the way. We're going to make our way onto our back. So if you need a towel off, grab a drink of water, put on socks or a jacket for final relaxation. Now is your moment. We will not sit up for the rest of our practice. All right. So coming on down onto your back when you feel ready, tucking your knees into your chest, wrapping your arms around the legs here for just a moment, giving yourself a little squeeze, maybe a little release through your low back. Good. Extend that left leg long, wrap the left arm around the right knee, pull the right knee across the body for a twist through the spine. Well, if you're like me, you're popping some vertebrae here. Nice deep inhales. Nice deep exhales. Good. We inhale, we come back up into center, tuck that left knee in, extend that right leg long, wrap that right arm around the left knee, exhale, cross that knee over the body to the right side. Ooh, nice deep twist through the spine. Nice deep inhales here. And nice deep exhales. Inhale up into center. Bring the knees back into center. One more little squeeze. And then exhale, soles of the feet drop down to the mat. Now we're coming into final relaxation. Lots of options here. You can stay right here, soles of the feet on the floor, knees up tall. You can allow the knees to fall open wide, soles of the feet together, recline down angle. You can extend one leg out or the other for fallen tree. You can extend both legs out for traditional final relaxation. Find a comfortable spot for your hands. It's whatever feels best for you. You are also welcome to lay on your side or your belly, or even come back up into a seated position if that feels more comfortable for you. Whatever you prefer, this is your final relaxation. So I invite you to make your way into it now. And as you do, begin to notice the movement of your breath. Notice how fast or slow it has become, how deep or shallow. Notice the quality of each breath on your inhales and the quality of each breath on your exhales. Feel into the gentle rise and fall of the belly, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. And once again, just stay tuned into the breath. Allow yourself to rest here, noticing its movements and sensations. Or if you'd like, you can return to the mantra we used at the beginning of practice. Inhale, I can. Exhale, rest. Inhale, I can. Exhale, rest. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments here today. I'm going to get quiet for this last part of practice so you can have it to yourself. Please know that I'm watching the time. I respect yours, and I will let you out of this posture before the end of practice. So lean back, let go. Remember that you can rest right here. One day, the Buddha was sitting having a silent lunch with his monks in the woods. A farmer came hurrying by and asked, "Dear monks, have you seen my cows? They have all left me this morning. If I don't have my cows, how can I live? Insects have eaten my fields of sesame. I couldn't harvest anything. I cannot live. I think I will kill myself." The Buddha said, "Dear friend, we've been sitting here for a while and we haven't seen any cows pass by. Maybe you can look in a different direction." So the farmer left. The Buddha turned to his monks and said, "Dear monks, you are very lucky. You don't have any cows to lose." A cow stands for something we need to let go of. Our idea of happiness is a cow. And it's because of this idea of happiness that we cannot be happy. Bringing your awareness back to this space, taking a deep inhale through your nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air, before slowly exhaling your breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Move your arms and legs, gently waking your body up. When it feels right for you, roll onto one side, pause there with arm or hand beneath the head. It's here that I invite you to bring back to mind your intention or purpose that you set at the beginning of your practice that answered the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a deep inhale as you make your way up into a seated position, and we close out our practice here together today. So finding that comfortable seat, rooting into the sits bones, sitting up nice and tall. We inhale, we bring the shoulders forward and up, and then exhale, drop them back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on the knees, palms up or down, in the lap or at heart center, closing the eyes if you'd like. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on earth and for our bodies that allow us to do so many things, including yoga. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. It was a joy and an honor, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. The light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me here for this weekly stretch session with Yoga for Caregivers. I'm here every Wednesday at 9 a.m., so mark your calendars, set your alarms, make sure to tune in and join me. You can find Yoga for Caregivers on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. That's where you can access all of the resources available to you in thanks due to volunteers like me. So make sure to tell other caregivers about this community resource. We are here to support you. And thank you once again for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you next time. Bye.